Frank, what is the smartest thing we did when we moved abroad?
Well, I would say it's a number of things, but the first thing that we did before we even landed abroad was we made a decision. I was going to learn Spanish. And so I set it in my mind that no matter how difficult it is, I will persevere and try to learn the language. So that, I think that gave us a good firm foothold. For example, when you watch other bloggers that are in these areas that you don't really realize they're really shills for the Rams, you realize that they're doing things like hiring locals to go shopping for them at the mercados. They're not really doing the shopping, but they don't tell you that in their videos. And that's fine, you know, if you want to go abroad and hire people to do everything for you, you can always do that. But that isn't why we went abroad. We didn't go abroad to hire people to do things for us. We wanted the experience. We wanted it to be an authentic experience. We've talked about that in other videos. To me, it's not an authentic experience if I have to hire somebody to do everything for me. It's no different than the multimillionaire that has so much money that they can't be bothered to shop around, and they waste money, $30, $40 on a taxi ride left and right several times a day, and it's not fulfilling. Those two things right there are, I think, very foundational to the experience that we had and the memories that we created.
Frank's eating some sort of an Ecuadorian, traditional Ecuadorian meal. What was it wrapped in?
It's wrapped in this leaf, which I don't know what that is, but...
Is it good?
It's actually good. It's some kind of flour with plantain, and it's got fish in it.
How much was it?
$1.50. You squeeze some lime on it.
It's too much. Why are you letting them sell you this kind of stuff? You might get sick. Oh, mister! You said you were going to take me out to lunch?
I still can. This is very substantial. It's very satisfying.
You're mixing meat with rice, something you don't normally do. I don't get it. You're just totally out of your character.
Yeah. I know.
In the first place that we went, yes, it was on the Ram circuit, but I think that because we already set it in our minds that we were going to do those two things, you know, have a local level authentic experience and learn the language, that right there set the stage for putting us apart and being able to overcome, more importantly, the issues related to living in a Ram bubble, which we didn't see the Ram bubble coming at first. We didn't know. We were just like everybody else. We were oblivious to it. Nowadays, you guys have bloggers like us that talk about these kinds of things, and maybe a few others. But again, most of them don't do that. Most of them give you all the postcard and the rosy picture. Because of those two things, we were able to set ourselves aside, and therefore, that is the whole reason why we were able to weather the storm of the Ram bubble. You see, we were able, because we were able to tie down a house at $250 a month for 5 years. Incidentally, we had a gringo friend ask us, because he was wondering why we talked so much about rents going up, doubling and tripling. The Ram pumpers will tell you there's no inflation here. You know, if you believe that kind of gobbledygook, then you're just part of the problem of the bubble. You're just in the middle of that, and you don't see it. The thing is that the local pricing that we experienced and the local experiences that we experienced, being on a local level and paying $250 in rent, is a total different experience. So I'm not trying to say that we're better. You know, I don't want to sound like that.
But we are trying to say it's an authentic experience.
Authentic experience, and it is a different experience, and that's why part of why we went abroad was to have a local authentic experience, and anything else just wouldn't have been that. I mean, so because of that, it set us apart from the bubble, and we were able to weather it much longer than had we simply been one of those followers with no care or concern in the world as to the relationship between how much we're spending on rent and how much the locals are spending on rent and everything else. So to say that, listen, you can go to Cuenca and have a great middle class life on between $2,000 and $3,000 a month is just being completely oblivious, and you could follow that up with actually disrespecting local pricing structures, which is what the locals, a lot of the locals are in. So we're sensitive to that. We're more sensitive to it, and we're more careful about that. And for example, the ones that are saying there's no inflation, we pay $800. Those are the houses that were $350, $400 on a local level before the bubble, and then they went to $800, and a lot of them went to $1,000 and then $1,200. So, and remember, when I say things like that, I'm not saying they're going to happen within this year. That's a snapshot in time of a bubble over between 5 to 7, maybe 10 years. So, you know, to make it sound as if, oh no, gee, no, there's no inflation. Just pulling the wool over, you know, people's eyes. When we first went to Cuenca, Ecuador, that's the two foundational things, the language and the local authentic living experience did to us is it put us in a place where we didn't have to be right smack dab in the middle of the location-wise what was considered to be the Gringo Alley at the time, which we did not coin, the locals did. So because of that, we were already outside of it geographically. So that what I'm saying is, even though we were in Cuenca, Ecuador, we weren't right there with the gringos in that area that they liked at the time. As the years passed and they branched out from that area and the whole city became a Gringolandia, then it started encroaching on our pricing structure also, as it did on every other local within the city. I wasn't expecting to live in a tourist zone. You know, I'm not from a large metro area. I didn't compete with large city folk for rental pricing or what have you, or food. I didn't compete with them before. Why would I come here and compete with them now? I just want to come to a place and live a peaceful, happy life. And there's a lot of improvements in Ecuador. There's a lot more police. It's a lot safer. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. It was really unsafe before. Very unsafe. And now it's better. So I'm really happy about those things. I really like it here. I like the weather. It's safer, you know. But it seems like an uncertain future to me to be living in a tourist zone when you're witnessing prices doubling just on rent. And other things too. It's not just rents. Lots of foods that foreigners, gringos, prefer and pay more for in the States, those things are also going higher and higher here. We just wrote an article about the peppers. That's just an example. And just about everything, the prices are rising to almost US levels. And that's not why I came here. I didn't come here to pay almost US prices. And the problem is that you got these foreigners that are constantly comparing to the big cities. Now, if they were going to the Midwest or small town and they were comparing, they'd say, wow, it's really expensive here. But because you got these people from big cities, then, okay, so bottom line, I'm really uneasy about what's happening, the prices. When a place is being pumped as much as these places are in the news about how everything is paradise, and then a person comes down here and sees different than what they're hearing, Yeah, I just want people to know, you know, so a lot of people come here and then leave, so it's important. People want to know this stuff. And so when the bubble popped in Cuenca and everything went back down and the gringos left, and now they're starting to build up that momentum again because of the ram circuit and the ram pumping, that's starting all over again. And so you're not going to see the inflation this month or next month.
We're getting some herbs in the herb part of the mercado in Cuenca, Ecuador. They have every kind of herb imaginable in here. Anything that you want that's fresh, you can find in this part of the mercado. We realized that once we decided to leave the gringo bubble area, we made a decision. We decided it was just not healthy, not good. You know, things like the mercado, you know, becomes a tourist attraction, and just little by little the encroachment starts taking over all parts of your life. I've talked about the banking, and those, remember, those things fluctuate in and out depending on the traffic. So if you're not really listening or paying attention, you might notice a spot in time right now where those things aren't happening that way at the moment. But again, those things will fluctuate based on the ram pumping and where that's at in one snapshot in time. So the third thing would be that we initially stayed outside of the ram bubble even though we went to a ram city. And now we know better than to really want to be in a ram pumped area on a long-term basis. It's not that we wouldn't visit. You know, it might be a nice place to visit. So taking that a step further, we came to southern Italy because we knew we were going to be able to be far, far away from the effects of ram circuit, ram bubble, you know. So anyway, I'm really super excited that this ram thing is not really part of front and center of our life anymore. What do you think, Angie? I mean, we talk a lot about it. Well, we're trying to help people.
We're trying to help people, you know, and we get encouraged because from time to time people make comments and say, you opened my ram-only eyes, keep making the videos. And you know, guys, it's comments like that that keep us going. We appreciate that because it shows us that we are helping someone and you are getting something out of it. And even though we may be a minority and it's a cause for our channel not blowing up like everybody else's channels, because let's face it, the channel that, you know, makes everything peaches and cream is gonna, you know, it's just going to make a lot more people feel good. But
it's going to be about peaches and cream.
It's going to be about peaches and cream. But we're saying we're the ones that really have peaches and cream. Look at this. You know, and we get it for $340 a month furnished. Sorry, I can't quit laughing about that. Well, I'm not sorry, I just can't quit laughing about that. So
that's the smartest thing we did when we moved abroad.
The smartest thing we ever did was set out in advance of going abroad that we were going to stay outside.
Stay outside of the gringo bubble.
The gringo bubble, but not because we had any reference point of what that gringo bubble was actually going to look like, because we hadn't been through it before. But just because we happen to desire a more authentic local experience and want to learn the language in order for us to do so. A lot of the gringos, if you recall and go back to some of our older videos, were leaving. The whole time we were able to, we were in the process of weathering that bubble. Other gringos were not able to weather that bubble. And therefore there was a lot of this attrition and revolving door. And so there was a lot of them leaving, and thousands of them have left and, you know, and aren't going back. So
But a new set is going
This
to
is all
Cuenca.
brand new traffic, brand new pumping, brand new
It's-
logging
it's-
shills and what do you call them, decoys and ram associates. So that would be the smartest thing is having made, I think, a good assessment to begin with and a good decision to begin with. And it has led to eventually us realizing that the further we are from a ram bubble, the better, really, as far as long-term abroad living. Because for anyone that just wants to go for a visit, you want to go somewhere for 6 months or a year, you know, you're going to pack and leave. Who cares, right? I mean, you're not going to stick around. It's not going to affect you. So, but a lot of people go abroad for long-term living. Anyhow, if you like the video, put it on your social media. Have a wonderful day.